Hey everyone, this is Jay. Welcome to the YouTube channel. I'm making these longer videos because I want to explore music theory concepts a little more in depth. So let's get into it, man. Here's the first thing I like to make sure you have covered when you're going to learn how to play through modes. Know your major scale, in and out, at least two different ways on the guitar. A major scale, you know. And then also know your relative minor, which for C, which I'm playing in, is A. And, you know, it's a natural minor scale. What you need to first understand about this is that when you're playing a relative minor scale, you're playing all of the same notes associated with its relative major, just stacked differently. So, you know, when you're playing in C, for example, you got C, D, E, F, G, A, and then B, C. And when you're playing an A, you're starting on an A note and then playing A, B, C, and then D, E, F, G, A. So all the same notes, all natural, just stacked differently. So point being is they're interchangeable in when the music's really happening, man. So yeah, and then also the whole deal with the pentatonic scales is you should also know those and see what the connection is. When you play a major pentatonic scale, you're playing the major scale notes minus the 4th step and the 7th steps. So it's like an abridged version. And then same thing with the minor, you're playing the minor scales notes, but cutting out the 2 and the 2 and the 6. Cool, makes sense. So here's the pentatonic minor, and here's the full natural minor scale. Here's the pentatonic major. And here's the full major scale. So as you can see, it's just, we get all the scale steps, all 7. Whereas with pentatonics, we cut a couple of them out in order to, you know, be able to play a quickened abridged version where, you know, you're just going to be playing 2 notes per string and really ripping. Alright, cool. So basically, those 2 things, know them. Because when you learn modes, it's not so much about playing a different scale as it is understanding what bass notes and chords to be using underneath when you're improvising. So that's what we're going to do today is explore this. I have just a simple setup here, just guitar right through the amp, keyboard, and loops. So when you go to basically figure out what kind of chords you need to use, the quickest, most easiest way to do this, and this is not by any means the only way or something, but we use 2 5/1s so that you can hear the basically like a 2 chord or a 4 chord, then to a dominant chord, which is your 5 chord, and then to the 1 chord, which is your anchor, your tonic, you know, the key. So when we do it in C, we play the 2 chord, which in the key of C is D minor. And, you know, on a side note here, the basis of like each one of these chord qualities is based off of your major scale, and then when you stack chords on top of each scale step, we always end up with a major, and then a minor 2 chord, a minor 3 chord, a major 4 chord, a Dom 7 chord, which basically means a major chord with a flat 7 for the 5 chord, and then a minor 6 chord, and a diminished 7 chord, then back to the 1 chord again. It sounds like this so it's like 1 chord, 2 chord, minor, 3 chord, minor, 4 chord major, 5 chord Dom 7, 6 chord minor, diminished 7, back to 1. Alright, cool. So let's just get started here. Let's look at, the Ionian key, which is major. When we're talking modes, Ionian is a major. So, we'll play a 2-5-1. So we'll be like going like this kind of deal. We'll go. Oh, whoops, I already had a loop going there. Cool. So we got. Maybe do a 4 chord real quick. Instead of using a major C, I'll play a minor, A minor. Simple enough, right? Let's move right along. So now that we got that established, I was just playing C major. I'm playing, either an A minor pentatonic or an A natural minor scale, whatever I want. Just make sure you do know that stuff or whatever. Okay, cool. So moving along now, when we go to explore Dorian, we need to go to the second scale step of C, which is a D minor chord, and then we need to play a 2-5 for that D being the anchor chord. So we go 1 up from D minor, which is an E minor chord, and then we go up to the 5, which is an A minor, and then down to the D minor chord. Cool. So, here's a little run through on that. D Dorian action going on there. All right, cool. Let's keep moving along. The next one, which is a very sought after and beautiful sounding key, is Phrygian. Now, this one is based on the 3rd step of the scale. So what we have there is an E minor chord. And remember, this is all in relationship to the C major key. So when we create a Phrygian mode, we take that C major, and then we go the 3rd step up now, which is an E minor chord, and that's going to be our tonic note. And now we have to find the 2 chord, which for E minor is going to be an F, and it's going to be a major chord, because again, relating to C. And then our 5 chord is going to end up being a B diminished chord, which is, in my opinion, what makes this thing sound so cool. So here we go. This is going to be Phrygian mode. And again, when I go to play in this E minor Phrygian, I'm only going to be using a C major scale or an A natural minor scale. starting to pick up what I'm putting down here. I am not changing any of the notes I'm playing on the guitar. Only C or A minor. Pentatonic, minor, A minor pentatonic, or C major pentatonic, or the full major or full natural minor of each. But what we're doing is altering the chords that we're playing over to give us these different kinds of qualities. Cool. So if you're still with me here, the next one up is going to be Lydian. And if you've noticed so far, both of these last two modes that we played were based on a minor chord being the tonic note. Lydian is the first one we look at where we have another major kind of mode. So for, in relating to C, the fourth step up from the key of, in the key of C is your F. So what you have here is an F chord that's major, and to get the 2 chord, you guessed it, G. And the G is a major, again. And not only that, but a Dom 7 major. And then your 5 chord is going to be C, the tonic of C, but it's going to function as the 5 chord when we play Lydian. So let's have a listen to this. Cool. Alright. Sweet. Lydian. Now, moving up to the next one is the 5th step of the scale, and that brings us to Mixolydian. Mixolydian, so you have a Dom 7 chord as being your 1 chord, and that would be the G. And then to get that 2 chord, you go 1 step up from G, which is A, and it's a minor chord. So we have A minor, and then we go to a D minor for the 5 chord, and then to G for the 1. Oh, let's do a drum beat on this one. What the hell? Alright, cool, Mixolydian. Alright, this brings us to the last one that I find to be functional, because I am not personally a big Locrian fan, or, I just don't find any real use in really even talking about it, because what it is it's based on the 7th step, which is the leading tone, which it doesn't end up making a lot of sense as being a 1 chord, it just ends up sounding like something else. Alright, cool. That would be, our last one is, in fact, the natural minor, which is the 6th step of the scale. So this is where the connection comes in between the major and the relative minor, because now we're playing in a minor key, which is the exact mirror image of the major, So 6th step of the scale is your key to knowing what the relative minor is to any major key. So in this instance, where we're playing all in C, we're going to be looking at our minor as being in A. And, just so you know, Ionian is the major, and Aeolian is the minor when we're talking about modes. So with Aeolian, we have a diminished 2 chord to start with. And then it's going to be a minor E minor chord for the 5. Cool. And I'll try to play in a major C major scale here. Cool. So I hope that this was helpful to any of you guys that are interested in learning about, what the deal with modes is and how it can be obtainable to really anyone. So the main thing with this, I would say, would be getting used to, firstly, reality check yourself. Make sure you do know how to play that major and minor nice and smoothly all the way through. And then start to map out the chords that are associated with each different mode. And, either get yourself a loop pedal and do like I'm doing, or find a friend that will hold down some chords that you guys can trade back and forth and improvise over different modes. Best of luck. I'll talk to you guys next time. And, yeah.